So here we go. Okay.
Hey, Donna,
Yes.
is there a way for her to be invited in?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No. Okay, good enough then.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. She's been trying. Okay,
That's, we just have to trust that for
yes,
whatever
it is.
reason, it's a not yet situation for her to have this conversation or to be working on this level, but that's okay. Or maybe
Okay.
she's already got the answers, but
Okay,
she doesn't need any of this. Let's bless her with
thanks.
that awareness.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
So just to get started and get connected, what I normally ask people to do is just take a few moments, close your eyes, and we're going to actually use our breath to get more connected to the very core of our being, centralized in what we identify as our heart. So as you breathe in, I just want you to breathe in relaxation. Bring that down into your heart and allow your heart to fill with a state of relaxation that just allows you to be more open, to be more aware, and to be more actively in charge of your journey, your soul, and your purpose. As you breathe out, just let go of any resistance that may be there, any reasons that you have been blocking or not allowing the blessings of love and light to filter in and out. You can let them go. And as we take in the next breath, we're just going to take in the breath of permission. And by that, it's giving yourself permission to consider or to connect at a much deeper level than you ever have before, knowing that it's time. And in this timely manner, it is there to bless you abundantly with just a keener sense of yourself. Maybe some of the challenges that you're holding on to, some of the issues that are present in your energy field that make life more challenging than it needs to be, or less loving than it potentially can be. So using the in and out breath, you just keep the movement, fill that heart with love and acceptance, self-awareness, self-confidence. And as you breathe out, just let go of any and all resistance. And we'll just take one more breath, and we're going to use that breath to reduce the tension that may be held in the body right now. Where there's tension, it means that there's resistance. So pay attention to the tension. It will always point you in the right direction of what needs to heal or soften or move forward in some way. And as we breathe out with this one, we're just going to use the ha breath, just using a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just do ha. That's release and relief, so that it sets the stage for energy and awareness and knowledge to come in. Okay, so part of what we'll be doing tonight, this afternoon we did the session and there were quite a few questions and there was a lot of information, and I believe that it would serve a greater purpose if we opened up the questions a little sooner, which we will be doing. I ask you to drop the question. You'll see chat. It's a little button at the bottom. If you're not aware and haven't used it, you can open up chat on your system. I have it open on mine. And at that point, you can put your question in the chat. I have Charlotte helping me, and she will point out the questions as we go along. For the most part, I'm going to try and keep the flow moving so that you feel the journey, you feel a part of the journey. And for some of you, if you're really intuitive and connected, you'll actually feel that you're in the journey. So depending on your level of comfort, that's your experience to determine for yourself. Okay. All right. So we're going to start way back in the beginning. And Lemuria was not actually the beginning of creation on the planet. The land of An was. But it was a very small civilization, a very small colony that was seeded onto the planet. Basically, it was a group of souls that came from different parts of the universe who wanted to be a part of this great experiment in bringing civilization, humanity, anybody who wanted to experience an actual physical life on the planet was represented by the different nations in the galactics. So the land of An is where the initial landing was, where it's somewhere in the vicinity of Australia, if you just kind of want to give it a context of where it began. The land of Anne is very much plays a key role and still does in the journey that everyone is on. When you look at all of the countries that are spiritually seeking, awake, and aware, you will see that their name ends in AN. We are Canadian, there's American, there's Hawaiian, there's Egyptian, there's German, there's African. So you can see that it has always symbolically been attached to or connected to all of the various civilizations that have popped up everywhere. So in the beginning, the civilization was incredibly connected still to their galactic families, but they were also integrating into more of an Earth type life where they were independent of their galactic family and started to develop themselves spiritually, so that intuitively, telepathically, they could still be connected, but not on a physical level. It was more on an energetic level. Spirituality was incredibly important to them. And as they continue to evolve and develop, the curiosity of other things and other ways moved into the picture. And that is where we symbolically end up in Lemuria. And in Lemuria, you can look at the difference that it has made, where they are less connected to spirituality and more connected to their humanity. By that, it represents and is reflected in the Adam and Eve story, where the apple of temptation was presented. What that actually means is that it got to the point where the female part of human nature wanted to know and have information. Now, she's basically intuitive and empathic. Her greatest skill is to instinctively and intuitively know what to do, know how to do it, know how to care for people, know how to nurture people. But she wanted to know and have knowledge. So therein lies the challenge of the female wanting to shift over to having more of a male connection in being able to work with information the way the male does, which turned out to be quite a shock to the whole evolutionary process. So we have this innate knowing in that time, or in that challenge, where we were opened up to deception, distrust, and no longer connected at the male-female level, at an intimate level, that they were able to spiritually remain bonded and connected. There was always a competition of who was right, who was wrong, who would lead, who would follow, who was going to be the caregiver, and who was going to be the one to go out and, you know, retrieve what was needed as far as keeping things flowing to survive. So the Lemurian journey, again, it was a contest between spiritual and then moving more into the logical. They managed to keep it balanced for the most part, but at some point, the desire to continue to grow and to know got the better of them. So Lemurians started to travel and leave the area so that they could find and discover new lands, new ways, new means, new rules and laws as they made them up as they went. So when they actually arrived in Atlantis, Atlantis was a very free state at that point. It was very cutting edge, new age. There was a lot of energy work being done. There was a lot of frequency, vibrational work being done. Healing was done in temples. It was done with crystals. And a lot of you will be starting to resonate, especially if you're a crystal child. All of the ways that we discovered that vibration was able to enhance the body and to experience it on that level really awakened within us the creativity or the knowledge and the ideas of doing things differently, different ways. So following this concept of difference is where we end up with a wedge being put between thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and feelings are incredibly different. And when you work with them together, there is harmony and balance. When you don't trust them to work together, we end up with separation and division. So Atlantis started to divide into two, where it did maintain the spiritualists who wanted to keep the traditional way of remaining connected as a human family, human community. But the scientists started to step forward and say, but we have another way, we have a better way. We want to experiment with this, we want to research that, we want to try something different, we want to move in that direction, which over a period of thousands of years they did do. The scientists moved what we would say is probably as high as you can get into experimenting on the energetic level, how to manifest, but the manifestation focus was on distorting. It was taking the original blueprint, the original cells, the original design, and creating a difference that was more in the lines of deviations and defects. Gotta love the scientists. I mean, we've all been one, so nobody go pointing fingers. We've all played the game. So with this whole scientific concept, they took the design of creation and started to distort it and disrupt it to the point where it was destroying humanity. It was taking the original design and dumbing it down, numbing it down to the point where it was very, very unrecognizable when it comes to being a divine being. So, of course, creation will only let kids play so long and so far out into the field before it's like, okay, that's enough of that. There needs to be a correction. And basically, the scientists kept moving to the point where they actually imploded the land of Atlantis. So most of the ones that were at the planning level, the stages of the hierarchy, they knew it was coming, they could see it coming, and they were told that they needed to get out. Some of them went to South America, some of them went to Africa, moving through Africa into Egypt. So the next civilization that was the cutting edge, and again, there's civilizations all over the planet at this point, but the ones that were cutting edge and the ones that were run by those of us who were starseeds, and our purpose was to come and experiment with all of these variations on what we were able to manifest. When we arrived in Egypt, the sense of creativity was very much shifting into technology. In Egypt, when you look at the pyramids, when you look at the development, you look at all of the designs of their underground civilization, not what they show you on the surface, because on the surface things look incredibly primitive in some ways, advanced in others, but it was looking underground at what was going on in civilization as well as the surface. Those incredibly huge pyramids were actually built with frequency and vibration. So here they're taking their scientific technology and they're building, they're moving forward, they're creating things on a larger and larger scale, but they're also starting to network above ground and below ground. And this is where, now it's not if, it's when, you get to know how many civilizations there are actually underground right now on our planet. They're everywhere. They're advanced to some degree, but they're also are the ones that are still working with the primitive experimentation. And at this point in creation, they are being eliminated. They're no longer going to be an option. So it's understanding that we need to take the responsibility of our power that we do have, and what we've been using it for in the past is very much research. It's not about the right and wrong of it, or the good and bad, the black and white. It has more to do with really respecting that any place that we separate male and female, or separate thoughts and feelings and don't respect them as having equal value, inevitably it is doomed to be destroyed. It cannot sustain itself forever because the two are meant to be one. And when we do not allow ourselves the balance and the harmony of thoughts and feelings within our bodies, you can very much see through your own experience, probably for lifetimes, how illness and disease, sickness and disharmony is present within our physical bodies right now, at an unprecedented level. Once again, as these researchers and adventurers, we have taken ourselves to the outer limits, and virtually to the point where, we could annihilate the entire human race. That's not going to happen this time. We've well past that date and timeline so that it is not even a potential or a possibility. So just relax on that level. However, we do have some work that needs to be done within ourselves when it comes to the things that we have done, the things we've participated in, and the memories that we still hold at the cellular level. There's a lot of guilt, shame, and blame. And that guilt, shame, and blame goes all the way back to the apple. And the moment the concept of right and wrong, good or bad, thoughts and feelings cannot get along and they cannot function together was taken on as a concept. So we're going to work a little bit with reconnecting that and correcting that tonight. So if there's any questions at this point, just put them in and we'll start addressing some of them. And when there's a few questions, I'll stop and we will discuss them slightly. When you are looking at your soul purpose, and everybody seems to be keenly searching for that, what is my soul purpose? Why am I here? You have probably spent most of your life thinking, this doesn't look like what life is supposed to be or what life was meant to be. There's just something that isn't in alignment or something that isn't working. If the concept and the project that we're on is to learn to love, where are the reasons? Where are the opportunities? Where are the places that we can experience that and not be judged or criticized or divided into different nationalities, different cultures, different governments, different races, all of those differences that we've developed. And remember, we are co-creating this. It's not like there's a benevolent source that sat down one day and say, wonder how many ways I can screw up humanity. No, we did that ourselves. That was something that we took on as an adventure or something that we felt would be worth exploring so that we can, through the experience of it, become more aware and more knowledgeable. Again, wasn't that the point? We wanted knowledge. We can be more knowledgeable about all of the different ways that the human mind can work, how the different emotions work, how the different levels of physical being and aging. Aging was never part of the original blueprint. Again, that is something that we brought into the experience by co-creating it as human beings. Because I feel very strongly that we recognized very early that if we're going to live a miserable life, let's make it a short one. And then we'll come back and we'll try again. As we're entering into the quantum field, there is no longer the concept or the process of aging. So if you're not going to age, think about it for a moment. If you are not going to age one more day in one more way from now on, do you want to stay the way you are right now? Do you want this to be the best version of you, the way you stand and live and breathe today? Or are there some things that you would like to change? Are there some things about your body, your mind, your activity level, your social level? Are there things that you would rather have improved or shifted forward so that you were more in balance and in harmony? Those are the kinds of things that our souls are going through right now. We're sorting through it on every level. Our mind is looking for a way out of what we're in. Our emotions are so overcharged and stressed out. For the most part, we're living in chronic chaos. And our heart is so shielded and so protected from all of the things and the ways that we've been unloving, that the concept of living longer and living endlessly in that is not necessarily a welcoming idea or a thought. We know that for those that are aware of the med beds, we know that there is an opportunity, there is assistance being given to humanity in order to facilitate restoring our physical bodies. But it does not work on the mental level of the memories of what you've been, where you've been, and what you've done. It does not clear that. That is your job as a soul. You chose it with your free will. and it is your free will that will correct that. The other thing is that our emotions are so out of alignment with being connected to what is fair, kind, true, and loving, that we have some adjustments that need to be made. What I see in the collective right now, or certainly in the human journey, people are running everywhere to everyone and everything that they can, seeking the answer. And that is a distraction, that's a diversion, because you will not find it anywhere. It's in here. Your own heart has the original blueprint, the original design, the original truth of who you are and why you're here is safely and securely recorded and embodied in your heart center. That is where the creator of all that is holy and divine dwells. That is where Mother Nature hangs out. That is where us as humans are meant to be sitting there feeling that we belong, as opposed to, oh no, I've done so many things that are not loving, I don't belong here, or I don't deserve to be here. That's a popular one. So the idea is, if we want humanity to move forward the way it is actually designed to do and meant to do, we have work to do. If you want to get to a better place that you would like to be in for eternity, we have things to go through to get there. There's no shortcut. It doesn't matter, if you are wide awake or partially awake. There are things that you must acknowledge and accept you need to go through as a soul to correct and to clear what you're holding on to. Because for the most part, none of it is relevant to what we are in this moment. It was relevant to the different civilizations we were in, the destruction that was created, the power that was misused, the misuse of our sexuality, our relationships. All of those experiments and research were done in the name of love. And that will seem really hard for some to comprehend or to embrace, that kind of behavior and distortion of what love is would benefit love. But if you look at love itself and all of the conditions that we have placed on love, those are all the experiments that we've been in. We've distorted it in every possible way. And the point of it all was, what did you learn? What did you discover? Do you still do it? Are you still in that place and in that space, or have you evolved? Have you recognized that in order to be unconditionally loving, you must release yourself from all of the conditions you had to go through to learn about it? That is a huge piece to our cosmic and karmic puzzle. We must let go of what we went through and what we did and the roles that we played. Guilt, shame, and blame has no place in this moment, in this transformation that is taking place in humanity. The overall picture of where humans are right now, everybody wants to know, why aren't we there yet? When are we going to get there? When are we going to get there? When are things going to happen? When are things going to change? But when you really ask at the very honest and truthful level of each and every soul, what have you changed? And if you have not changed, why would the world change, or how can the world change? As leaders in this whole movement, which we are, we're there to inspire others. We're not there to teach them. There's a news alert. We're not there to teach them. We're not there to heal them. We're not there to tell them how they should do it. We are here at this point in the journey, in our energetic purpose. We are here to show them by example how it's done. Be the change, be the unconditionally loving, be the forgiving, be the one that can take a moment where you are triggered into something that's uncomfortable. Be the one that can stand there and say, this is mine. I created this. Yes, I have a complete support cast of all kinds of friends and family that will gladly step forward and ring my bells and trigger my bones. But at the end of the day, it is by my request that this has happened. It's not by accident. It's being done so that you can recognize there's still work to be done. And it doesn't need to take a lifetime. We don't have a lifetime. The changes are happening right here, right now. The opportunities are here right now. So when you consider the greatness of our potential and you look at the civilizations that we elevated to such a high stage of consciousness, and then in our brilliance, allowed it to fall and crash and fall apart. That didn't feel good. It never feels good when something you've created and poured your heart and soul and love into it, to watch it be destroyed or to be decimated in front of you. That never feels good. But we're not meant to hold on to things. We're meant to rebuild and renew and refresh and regenerate and rejuvenate. And that comes with the process of letting go. Grow, let go. Grow, rise up, fall down. We grow. Everything is there to benefit and bless you. So take a moment and just think off the top of your head, something that you're challenged with right here, right now, that doesn't seem to want to go away. It doesn't want to improve. It doesn't want to shift and change. And that will be your soul self, your sacred self, pointing to probably one of the most important lessons and blessings that your soul can handle and manage. And that is to genuinely take a look, be truthful, and be honest. Are you loving yourself? Are you treating yourself respectfully? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you accepting that you have faults and flaws and that's just the way the package comes? Because if you can't accept all of those basic nature things about yourself, how can you connect to anyone else? Or why would you? We're sort of at the epitome of chaos right now and dysfunction. We've taken it as far as it can go, and I pray it doesn't get any worse, but that's up to us. We must take responsibility for going within and clearing what we can that we hold on to that is an important key to the transformation of our world. Because I guarantee you, in the position that you are in, those that are gathered here, you are on a mastery journey. You didn't just fall off the turnip truck and end up in the wrong place in space. You are here by divine design. And it means that you do have the skills and you do have the ability, you do have the consciousness level to make these corrections. But it takes time and it takes effort. And really, on the planet at this point, there is no greater use of time and energy and focus than on just looking at yourself and seeing whatever is unlovable needs to be healed and changed. And that's up to you. That's not up to anyone else. Someone else can guide you through it. As we all know, we all have, clients and people who we love very much, and we enjoy watching them progress and move forward and heal. But the greatest gift we can give them is to teach them how to heal themselves. And that is by us getting really down and dirty and vulnerable and saying, okay, here's me in my mess. This is how I found that I could process my way through it and allow my heart to embrace it as a blessing that comes out of the lesson. If you're still in the lesson, you haven't got to the blessing. If you're still in the chaos, you haven't actually identified the lesson. It's all there to help you, and everything is working at an accelerated rate right now. So again, if we are going to be the leaders that show the way, we must live that way. And we need to be vulnerable enough to show others when we're in it how we do it. By example, we lead. Not by force and not by finance. We lead by example, and that is the true gift that comes when humanity chooses of their own free will and consciously heals themselves individually and then collectively. What does the future look like then compared to now? It's very different. Only this time the word different is evolved. Different is elevated. Different is expanded. Different means you have found the way, you have become the way, and you were living the way you were always meant to. Every single war that has ever been fought, every argument that has ever been verbalized, every family that has ever fallen apart was done over the difference. There was a difference that people couldn't tolerate, they couldn't work with, they couldn't accept. Instead of looking at each other and saying, I'm different, you're different, let's see how those differences can complement each other instead of destroy each other. That's the new world reality. How can we complement each other? How can we support and encourage and have compassion for each other? Knowing that everyone is, at some level in their heart, desiring a life that is so much different than the one we're in. Bless the difference. That's what's coming. Okay, I'm going to open the floor for a little bit. Let's oh, I don't see any messages. Are there any questions at all that want to come forward? Everybody's quiet in their state. Nobody needs any insights, no directions. You're all just in your gold cloud, sitting in your perfect aligned state. Ooh, I'm honored to be in the presence. All right, any questions on the Lemurian experience? Because I know we need to dive in a little deeper into what that means. What was the Lemurian experience that is still present within each of us that has not fully settled into an alignment yet? Nobody has any connections to Lemuria. I'm going to challenge you, go within, ask your heart, what is my Lemurian challenge? What was my Lemurian memory? Because from those memories and those challenges comes your breakthrough, comes your healing moment.
All right, Dawn, are you asking us to share what comes up when you ask that question?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
So what I get from doing that is like a real pulling out my heart. Like, I don't want to leave. That's what feels really strong to me.
Right. You didn't want to leave Lemuria.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when evolution takes place and expansion takes place, if you stayed where you were, where would that be right now with your heart and your soul evolving? Where would you be? Would you be limited, or would you be completely contented and happy?
I have that sense of feeling like I'm lost and alone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Evolution is not always a pleasant thing. Evolution comes up when we are being moved closer and closer to the edge of the next. And the closer we get to the edge of the next, the more our behavior becomes extreme, the more our challenges become extreme, and the more we start to worry about, well, how are we going to do this, or how are we going to do that? And we shift our connection that is right here, right now, to, well, it used to be that way, and why isn't it that way? We look to the future and we look to the past, and we lose our connection. And that is what's taking place for most people right now. They're losing their connection. They're busy trying to find something to anchor to that is part of the past where they were happy. And just for a brief moment, everybody try and go back and think of a moment that was more than a moment or a day where you were actually happy. They're hard to find, because happiness is only brief enough for us to settle into, oh, I created something really amazing. I manifested this, and look at, I'm in it. This is wonderful. And then evolution kicks in and pushes you to the edge again. So there's always going to be a cycle and a season where we feel quite at peace and quite at home. And then it's going to move us to the edge of that cycle and drop us into a place of, oh, I'm really uncomfortable and I'm really not certain. and I'm really not sure. And it's through those questions and those challenges that we create our evolutionary journey. We never stay the same, and we never repeat the exact moment. We may repeat a cycle or two, because I know for the Lemurian clan here, how many are in a wonderful financial cycle that you've probably repeated a few times, where it's like, oh, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it, it's working, oh shit. There it went. It's gone. Back again. I'll just build another one because I can, and because I can, and because I can. Oh no, down it went. That is because we are still working in a conscious way with separating thoughts and feelings. Thoughts is the male side of us. Feelings is the female side. When we take those two and we put them together, we create. We create an action, or we create a reaction. So it's recognizing that the two are designed to work together. But if you don't trust your feelings and you judge your thoughts, what are you manifesting? Reasons not to trust and reasons not to know or be able to follow direction. So these are some of the little corrections that make a huge difference in where we're going and what we're doing. The past does not have the answers. It has the wisdom that we can bring forward to the moment and use to make different selections. The future does not have the answer, because unless we change right here, right now, in the way we align and the way we work and think and feel, the future will look exactly the same. And that's what humanity has been stuck in for probably 6,000 plus years. We have been repeating the same thing over and over and over again, like it's Groundhog Day. It's not changing, it's not evolving, it's not shifting, it's not moving. So we're in a place where we need to consciously, purposefully, heartfully change what we're thinking. And when we change what we're thinking to more loving thoughts, the immediate response is we feel better. And when we feel better, we act differently. And when we act differently, things work out differently. Again, coming back to the difference. That's what's very important in this whole shift that's happening. You want things to be different, you have to create the difference within yourself. So yeah, Lemuria left us with lots of question marks and relationship issues, because we had a season of perfection. We had seasons of relationships being beautiful and connected and so intertwined that they were sensual, they were sacred, they were celebrated in every possible way, where the male absolutely revered the female. And the female absolutely respected the male because he was always there for her and supportive of her. That is missing right now. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that's what is important for us to remember. The things that are missing or seem to be lacking do exist. But the place that they exist is within us. And we keep looking for things to change around us so that we feel safer and we feel more at home. That's not going to happen until we correct our reactions inside. So, oh, there's a question. All right. Okay, I want to accept my flaws and want to correct what I know is not my best interest. I know I'm not the best example. For me currently, it is eating food that lowers my frequency and brings my body disease. I know what I have to do, and I have done it before in short times. I'm being called to heal and seem to be going against my heart and soul, and know only I can choose each moment. Yes, I feel so blocked. Any thoughts on this? There's a good one. Food has two personalities in our existence. One, it represents the most decadent, sensual, flavorful, exciting, enjoyable experience that we can have as a human being. But on the other side of that, or on the other side of the pendulum, is it has consequences. If we overindulge, if we overextend, if we over, again, anything out of balance is going to create chaos. What is very clear and has been shown to me many times, that it is not the food. And this is going to be hard for some to really grasp, because you say, yeah, but when I eat this, I feel that. It is not the food. It's the mood you eat it in. If you eat it with guilt, if you eat it with, I shouldn't be doing this, if you eat it with, this isn't good for me, if you eat it with, this is probably more than I need or more than I should have taken, you get to be right. And your body will react and respond accordingly. So it is recognizing that food is an extension of our emotions. And there are foods that will stimulate and trigger your anger. There are foods that will stimulate and trigger your guilt. There are foods that will trigger and stimulate guilt, shame, and blame. Yeah. So there are ways that it is important for you to take the energy or the frequency of the food you're eating and do something incredibly simple before you even put it in your mouth. Put a hand on either side of the plate. Bless this food to your body and your use. Incorporate the vibration of it in a way that only enhances your well-being. You didn't know you had the power to do that. Well, yes, you do. And the more you use that power, I think food is a wonderful example, or an entry-level example of the difference that it can make. The foods that we are being fed right now are, it doesn't matter whether it's organic, whether you grew it yourself or you bought it. It is all highly toxic. And that is because we are not respecting our food. We are not respecting how it is grown. We are not respecting the earth. We're not respecting the original divine design of the genetics of the food and the animals. So that disrespect has a price, and our bodies are paying that price. This too will change very quickly once the shift has taken place and the consciousness opens up, which we're working on tonight. Once that happens, then that battle is no longer there. Food is meant to be part of the joyful part of living and experiencing, whether you create it and cook it yourself, or whether it's just the joy of sharing what you've created with others. Food plays a really important part in community. And the more we are at peace with the pieces of the puzzle, which food is one of them, and bring it to the table with reverence and respect and joy, energizing it in the loving frequency that it deserves to be, anybody eating it, believe it or not, those toxic foods have no toxic effect in your body. The attitude that you have presents love and abundance at the table that everybody partakes of. So they're not just eating the food, they're eating your mood. And if you want people in your family to digest properly and easily, bless the food with the highest possible level of frequency that it can in difficult situations, which we are in. Our food system, our water system, our air system is maximized into the toxic levels. And yet here we are. We're still thriving and surviving. Are we at the best part of our game? Are we all in healthy alignment? No, because we haven't done the work. And that inner work is a process that must be done. If we are the ones leading the way, we must lead with some level of balance and alignment and connection that symbolizes it's worth doing the work. You know, there's nothing worse than somebody saying, well, you know, you don't have to be that way. You know, other people aren't that way. Why are you that way? It's not nice to hear that. And yet the truth is, if other people do it different and they do have reverence and respect for their food, how it's made, how it's prepared, how it's served, and their body is in a better state, in a better place, if they are doing that, it's something for you to learn from, not something for you to judge or criticize yourself for not doing that. Figure it out, process. Yes, Anne-Marie, go ahead. Oh, I saw a hand up and then it went down. Okay. All right. Thank you for that knowledge and your practice and blessing and asking the food to serve me for my highest good. So grateful to hear your input. Finding that balance seems so challenging. I feel I go to extremes and never find balance. Correct, because you're going to extremes. Balance is more about finding a gentle movement one way or the other. Balance is all about, when you think of a pendulum, the pendulum swings to the extremes. Where's the balance point? It's not at the extremes. The balance point is where it's in stillness, where it's connected, where it's at rest, where it's at peace. The balance is right in the center. And actually, that's what your ego is, by the way. Your ego is a pendulum that when you are in pure divine ego, that is I am. And everybody's trying to get rid of their ego. Good luck with that. How you balance ego is you recognize that on the male side, if you go out of center, out of balance, the male will say, I'm greater than. And away we go on a life lesson, back to the center point. If the female is out of alignment, I am less than, takes her out of alignment. And then she must come back to the center of I am. I am that I am. That is the pure essence of the truth of who we are. We are created in the image of God. Creator, Yahweh, Jehovah, call it what you want. Give it a name, doesn't matter. As long as it is your acknowledgement of that divine within you. It is there to help us find the point of balance. Now, as we shift from karma, which is all about extremes, the back and forth, the black and white, the good and bad, the right and wrong, karma is the back and forth, and it's happening constantly in the former 3D world. That's what time is. It's a measurement of everything being broken down into that very limited back and forth. What we've entered into with the quantum field is the continuum. And the continuum is very different because the continuum will take you around an experience and circle, and you're a little wiser and you're a little smarter and your frequency rises up. And then you go around in a similar experience and expands, and you're a little higher and you're a little wiser, and it levels up. The continuum will continue to raise your frequency until you feel that you are way and well beyond the need for sickness, illness, disease, separation, division. That is where we're heading. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a choice. It's a decision that you're making in each and every moment of each and every day. You have a choice. Well, I can wake up and feel grumpy and manifest a grumpy, disconnect, unhappy, miserable day. Or you can wake up grumpy and say, well, that's not the way the day's going to go. And spend a few moments filling your heart with that centered state of who you really are and how you do deserve to have a wonderful day, a peaceful day, a loving day, a fun day. You know, that we need to add that to the days of the week, and eventually we'll get there. You know, there'll be Monday to Sunday, and then there's fun day. That's your day. Do whatever you want with it. Because there's not enough fun in our world, and there's no relief or sense of space for us to just be. One of the programs or the patterns that was shown to me, and I did share it with the other group today when we started, is this concept that humanity has been programmed into to, you know, hurry, worry, scurry. Do it faster, do it better. Get there. You got to be there. And when you get there, then you got to be in the next place. And then you should worry because you're not there, or worry because you can get there. And then you decide, well, this isn't where I wanted to be. It's pressure that puts you into this pendulum position where you're constantly searching for something that doesn't exist. But you keep being told that you should be getting there. Get yourself there however you can, whether it's through food or beverages or, you know, alcohol or, you know, sex. You should get yourself there, because if you can keep yourself in that state of accelerated hurry, worry, scurry, guess what you're not doing? You're not staying connected, and you're not staying balanced, and you're not staying in that center of I am, where you can make a world of difference. So when you feel yourself getting into that, the measurement of time, clocks won't exist for much longer. They were only created in the 3D world to measure and to be able to enslave men to the clock, to the beat of the clock, to the measurement of the clock, to the clock of life, to the clock of success, to the clock of abundance. It was used to measure and slow down what you were capable of doing for yourself and achieving for yourself. So much of what we're doing in our community service groups is creating all of the pieces of the puzzle to bring joy and happiness, togetherness, a sense of unity and oneness, to take the pressure off so that work and surviving are no longer even in the equation of what community is about. There is no measurement. There are no clocks. The sun rises, the sun peaks, the sun sets. That's your measurement of time. It's also your measurement of success. You woke up, you lived, you rested. Day well done. That's success. How much is in your pocket and your bank account is never factored in, as it wasn't back in Lemuria. So it's full circle, taking us back to the Garden of Eden with our bumps and our scrapes and our bruises and our egos and wounds and, sad stories and karma. It's taking us back to the garden and just saying, okay, now that you know all that you know and all that you've discovered and all that you've become, how will you do it different? So that every difference you make is a blessing. Every difference that you focus on is loving. Every difference that you leave as your legacy wherever you go is that people enjoyed your company, they enjoyed your presence, they enjoyed you as a person. That's all we look for. We just look for that sense of belonging, being accepted, being respected. So we're going to go back and walk in the door with the apple and go, I got it. The apple is the sum of the whole with the seeds of creation in it that's meant to be respected and loved just the way it is. Just like me. That's what we know now that we didn't know then. That's knowledge. That's wisdom. And we've got plenty of it. All right. So anyone else got questions in there? No. Okay, let's go into the concept of being blocked. Blocked is something that you choose. It's a form of protection. And we put the block around our heart. We put it around our mind. And we certainly put it around our relationships. When we don't feel at home, when we don't feel comfortable, when we don't feel connected. So a lot of what needs to take place first is removing the block that you have around your heart. And when we do our closing tonight, we're going to do a little visual journey to help you do that. Because the more you allow yourself to accept that blockages are choices, they're options. They're not punishments, and they're not sentences that have to last forever. The only person that ever put you in the position you're in is you. You hold the key to your freedom. You hold the key to your success. You hold the key to being free. You and only you. So that's a beautiful thing. All right, so we're at the end of our time. That went quickly. If you have questions, maybe just still tuck them in. I do try and address them if I can. Obviously, there's been plenty of information shared with everyone, so hopefully you've taken some nuggets away from tonight. And as you're going to sleep tonight, maybe just take that journey energetically and spiritually from the land of An, where all was perfect, to the land of Lemuria, where things started to be separated or divided, to Atlantis, where we really went all out with our scientific and spiritual differences, and then to Egypt, where we took technology to a whole new level, which, by the way, we're barely getting to the level that Egypt was with our technology. It's about to expand and explode to a whole different level. But that is because Egypt and the energy, the documentation, the information is all still sitting there waiting for us. It's like the treasures of the crypts haven't all been opened. And it's through our advancement that gives us the power and the privilege of opening them. And that information and wisdom will be shared with us. Remember, you left the wisdom there, you left the information there. Yeah, you, us mere mortals that have been on this incredible journey for a very, very long time. This planet is not the first time that we have done this work. So if you think it's taking a long time, there's another planet waiting for the same level of evolution, and I'm sure we'll be off and running there when we're done here. That's just what we do, and it's who we are. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. No more pity parties, because guess what? Nobody comes to them. Just you. So stop having your pity parties and stop rising up within yourself. Elevate your soul. Step into the truth of who you are. You are the I am. With all of the power and the glory and the grace and the goodness that that has to offer. That is who you are when you stop separating yourself from the source of your supply, from the connection to the divine. Both the Divine Mother and the Father are there to support you, to help you, to heal you, to bring you home. What is home? Love is home. And if wherever you are, there is love, you will always feel at home and you will never feel alone. That's what love is. So, yeah. All right. We'll just take a quick moment. Just close your eyes. We're going to do a journey to move you through the steps that we brought forward into your awareness tonight. And I just want you to imagine that your purpose in being here today is to discover or recover a part of yourself that has felt lost, has felt alone, has felt separated, has felt divided, has felt inadequate, insecure, unsure, afraid, judgmental, all of those flaws that we seemingly have used to remain in the illusion of the journey. We're going to bring them all to the throne of grace. And see yourself standing there with all of these cloaks that each lifetime, each part of you, each aspect of you wore this disguise and wore this limitation and wore this blocks and boundaries that you set for yourself so that you could play small and you could exist and participate in small things, even though they were still powerful. You took the smallness of yourself as a soul and made it so minute, it was nothing but a spark that is left of the divine. But the spark is still present. And the spark is what will bring you fully back into the core of creation, into the center of the divine, into the chamber of the Most High. And as you stand there in the center of that vision, you all alone, just a spark, let all of the cloaks, all of the walls, all of the layers, all of the excuses, the reasons, the justifications, the lies, the truths, whatever it is that you took on to hide yourself so that you could play small. Let them all fall away. And as they fall to your feet, all of those bricks and blocks and walls and layers, notice that as soon as they hit the floor, they immediately turn to gold. They immediately emit this phenomenal energetic light. They immediately transform and transfer the wisdom that you experienced in all of those limited states. All of the wisdom is right there for you. It's at your feet. And it's at your feet for a very important reason right now. Because you and only you, in the courage of this moment, trusting in the truth of who you are, can make that choice and decision to step onto the gold, step up onto the gold, onto the energy, onto the emanating light, and become one with it, so that it is part of your consciousness. It's part of your awareness. It's part of the very essence of who you are. And it is designed in this moment to forgive you for everything that you went through to learn what you needed to learn. You are forgiven. You are asked to step up even higher as the gold begins to energetically lift you up and raise you up. Move up into the frequency that takes your memories and dissolves them further into wisdom. And then that wisdom is then energetically lifted even higher to create a consciousness that you now are absolutely, completely, totally, lovingly a part of. All your efforts, all your work, all the things that you invested in your soul for the sake of serving the light is acknowledged, honored, and deeply respected in this moment. And as you look around, you will see a circle around you of souls that have supported you along this path. They've been part of your communities, they've been part of your relationships, they've been part of your journey, the different lifetimes. All of them have worked together for this moment in time. Accept in this moment within your heart, that spark is your activation into service. Yes, you will still have human challenges to process and release, but now you know how, but more importantly, you know why. That is essential. It's so important that you do. And just in the final moments of our visualization right now, just give thanks and gratitude to yourself for having the courage and the strength and the commitment to make it this far, because not many have. Others will follow, but those of us who are standing on the leading edge have a lot of work to do. And the majority of that work is healing and loving ourselves. Not just because we're told to or asked to, but hear this and hear it deeply at every level of your soul. We do it because we are worthy of it. We are worthy of that level of love and that level of living in the land and the light of love. That is the truth. Nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just declare, and so it is. That is your acceptance of it. Some of you will be feeling it deeply, resonating on every level. Some of you will just quietly let it percolate, and over the next few days, you'll find things shifting and changing and moving. So, yes, thank you very much for joining our Friday night circle. This is going to be the last one for this year. We will resume in January, and I will continue to do the Friday sessions at 2 and at 7. So it really allows people that work during the day to still have access at night. We will be doing journeying, and then there will be a question period after where you get to open your heart and your soul to what you need. Come to the table of joy and acceptance. Come to the table where people are actually glad to see you there and celebrate you at whatever level you're at and whatever you're going through. And know that this new world that we are creating and a part of is worth your time and effort. There is no charge for what we do in Quantum 369. There's no charge. The investment is all yours. You invest in you when you show up. And we invest in our ability to lead the way, guide the way, and show the way when we show up. That's how community is meant to work. We help each other, and we're all here to support the process, and it is a process. And we know it hasn't up until now been an easy one, but remember, everything's a choice. If you're going to be in a life lesson, choose to do it with love and see how much easier it becomes instantly. The answers will be there, the direction will be there, the source of supply and what you need to provide will be there. Conscious creators, we're manifestors. Get used to it. All right. All right. Good night, everyone. I will ask Charlotte if she can stay. Was there any questions right before we go? I feel somebody's got a little nugget that needs to be shared. Anybody want to listen to their heart and let it happen? No. All right. I trust that everybody got exactly what they needed, and thank you so much for coming. Take care.
Have a great weekend.